To find the area of a circle, first we need to know what the area of a circle is. Well, the area of the circle is all this green part of the circle. It's all the surface that a circle covers. Okay, so we're trying to find what is that green? How much space is that particular circle taking up? So to find that, area is pi, which we talked about with circumference. There's our symbol for pi again. Okay, and we're going to keep it as a symbol again, just like we did with circumference. Pi times r squared. Well, what is our r here? Our r is radius. And remember, from circumference, radius is from the center of the circle to the edge. The distance from the center to that outer edge of that circle. That is your radius. Okay? So we're going to be taking whatever that distance is from the center to the edge, the radius, and we're going to be squaring it. Got to think about those exponents. Remember, when you square a number, you take it times itself. So whatever that radius is, we're going to square it, take it times itself, and put it next to pi. Multiply it by pi. So if our radius is 3 inches, then we're going to plug in a 3 for our r, our radius, and we're going to square it. So 3 squared is 9. So our area would be 9 times pi, or pi times 9. Okay? Because we took our radius 3 and we squared it. It's radius squared. Remember, squared means you take the number times itself. That's 2 3's multiplied together, which would be 9 times our pi. And remember, we just leave it as the pi symbol. Okay? So let's look at a few examples. So here's our formula. Area is pi times radius squared. So our first example, our radius is 4 centimeters. So the first thing we need to do is have our radius squared. So our radius is 4. Or we can just plug in the value of our radius into our formula. So we need 4 squared, r squared, 4 squared. 4 squared would be 4 times 4, which is 16. Now we're going to take that 16 and put it in front of that pi, because we just found r squared was 16, so that would be 16 times pi. Okay, remember, we put the number before the pi symbol. That's just the way they like it in math terms. Okay, so that's all you do to find your radius, or your area. You take your radius and you square it and put it times pi. So let's look at this one. Oh, they give us the diameter. Well, remember, diameter of a circle is all the way across the circle, from one side to the other through the center. So if our whole diameter is 10, we want the radius, which is half of that, right? It's only from there to there. So if our entire way across is 10, well, our radius would be half of that, right? It would only be halfway across, so our radius would be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So our radius would be 5 feet if our diameter is 10 feet. We just divided that by 2. Now we want our radius squared. Well, our radius is 5, so that would be 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, which is 25. And now we plug that in to our formula. R squared, we just figured out, was 25. We take that times pi, so it would be 25 pi. Another example. Same thing, we have our formula up at the top here. We're going to plug in our radius squared times pi. So here they give us the radius is 9 kilometers. So our radius squared, our radius is 9, so that would be 9 squared, which is 9 times 9, which is 81. So now we can plug that into our formula. Radius squared was 81, and we just put that times pi, number first, just because that's how they like it in math terms, would be 81 pi. So our area is 81 pi. And we should probably put kilometers squared. That would be the units. Kilometers squared. So our next example, we have diameter is 22 feet. Well, remember, diameter is all the way across the circle. We need halfway across. We need the radius. So we have to take that diameter and divide it by 2 to get the radius. So if the diameter is 22 feet, then the radius would be 22 divided by 2, which is 11 feet. So the radius would be 11 feet. We need radius squared, right? We need r squared. That's radius squared. So that would be 11 squared, which is 11 times 11, which is 121. Okay, now we take what that radius squared was, plug it into our formula to find our area, so that would be 121 pi feet squared. Area is always in square units, whatever your unit is squared. So it would be feet squared. So that is how you find the area of a circle.